The Foolish King and the Wise Minister, the Throne and the Whim. In a kingdom of ancient grandeur and splendor, where verdant fields stretched far and wide and dense forests thrived, there reigned a king named Suryasen. This ruler possessed all the outward trappings of royalty, but he was somewhat lacking in wisdom and sound judgment. He was known throughout his realm more for his eccentricities and bizarre demands than for his sagacity. While his court was filled with learned scholars and wise men, King Suryasen often remained lost in his own whims, frequently disregarding the counsel of his ministers. King Suryasen's court was a spectacle of opulence. Pillars adorned with gold and silver, silken drapes, and a throne encrusted with jewels all contributed to its magnificence. Courtiers were ever present, ready to serve the king's every need, yet their hearts often harbored concern over his foolish commands. Instead of focusing on the critical matters of the state, the king frequently occupied himself with questions and tasks that held little practical significance. One day, as King Suryasen sat upon his magnificent throne, a peculiar and extraordinary thought took root in his mind. He summoned his most experienced and sagacious minister, Chandragupta. Minister Chandragupta was highly respected throughout the kingdom for his erudition, foresight, and quick wit. When he received the king's summons, he felt a tinge of apprehension, well acquainted as he was with the monarch's unpredictable requests. Minister Chandragupta entered the court and bowed respectfully before the king. King Suryasen sat regally on his ornate throne, a strange glint in his eyes. "Minister," the king began, his voice grave, "a matter of utmost importance has arisen in my mind, and I require an immediate answer." Minister Chandragupta replied with humility, "Your Majesty, I am at your service. Please command." The king continued, lending an air of mystery to his words. "I must know the exact number of crows that reside within our vast and sprawling capital city." Minister Chandragupta was taken aback by this unexpected query. He pondered the purpose of counting such a multitude of flying creatures. It seemed an impossible task. After a moment, he composed himself and asked the king with deference, "Your Majesty, would you be so kind as to enlighten me as to why this information is required?" Estimating the precise number of crows would be an exceedingly difficult and laborious undertaking. However, King Suryasen remained steadfast in his whim. He refused to acknowledge the minister's practical concerns. His curiosity was piqued, and he was determined to have an answer, regardless of the effort involved. "No, minister," the king stated firmly, "I will hear no excuses. It is my royal decree that you ascertain the precise number of all the crows living in the capital and report it to me without delay. If you fail to do so, I shall consider you negligent in your duty." Minister Chandragupta now found himself in a precarious situation. He knew that disobeying the king's command could have dire consequences, yet he also understood the near impossibility of the task at hand. He took a deep breath and requested some time from the king to find a workable solution. "Your Majesty," the minister said, "I respect your decree and shall make every possible effort to fulfill this task. Please grant me a few days so that I may determine the number of crows in the capital." King Suryasen granted the minister a few days, but he made it clear that he expected an accurate count, not a mere estimation. The minister left the court disheartened, his mind racing with the challenge of accomplishing this seemingly insurmountable task. The brilliance of intellect. The king's peculiar command plunged Minister Chandragupta into deep contemplation. He spent the entire night pondering the problem, but no straightforward or practical method of counting all the crows in the capital presented itself. He consulted his trusted advisors and scholars, but none could offer a satisfactory solution. Ultimately, Minister Chandragupta resolved to rely on his own intellect and experience. He knew that the king expected a factual answer, even if it couldn't be entirely precise. He devised a clever plan that would not only satisfy the king, but also serve as an indirect commentary on the absurdity of his request. The following day, Minister Chandragupta arrived at the court with an air of confidence. King Suryasen awaited him with keen anticipation. Several other courtiers were also present, eager to witness how the minister had managed to fulfill the king's impossible order. "Minister," the king asked eagerly, "have you ascertained the number of crows residing in our capital?" Minister Chandragupta replied in a calm and serious tone. Yes, Your Majesty. After thorough observation and calculation, I have concluded that there are precisely 5,555 crows inhabiting our capital city. King Suryasen was slightly taken aback by the minister's prompt and precise answer. He had not expected a response so quickly and with such certainty. Doubt flickered in his mind, and he decided to test the veracity of the minister's claim. Are you absolutely certain about this number, Minister? The king inquired, his voice tinged with skepticism. What if some crows have flown into our capital from neighboring kingdoms, or if some have flown away to other places? Your count would then be inaccurate. Minister Chandragupta responded with remarkable wit and ingenuity. Your Majesty, your doubt is understandable, but I have considered every possibility. If some crows have indeed flown into our capital from neighboring kingdoms, then they must surely be relatives of our resident crows, and therefore, they too should be considered inhabitants of our city. After all, birds fly beyond borders and often visit their kin. Conversely, if some crows have flown away from our city to other locations, it logically follows that an equal number of crows from other regions must have come here to take their place, thus maintaining the total number of crows in our capital at precisely 5,555. This natural ebb and flow ensures the stability of the count. King Suryasen was rendered speechless by the minister's logical and ingenious reply. He was astounded by the minister's wisdom and his ability to find a solution to such a seemingly impossible problem. The king realized that his minister was indeed exceptionally intelligent, capable of resolving even the most challenging issues with ease and satisfaction. The other courtiers present in the court also marveled at Minister Chandragupta's quick wit and reasoning. They recognized that the minister had not only obeyed the king's command, but had also subtly highlighted the folly of the initial request through his clever explanation. The king's remorse and respect. King Suryasen was completely satisfied with Minister Chandragupta's logical explanation. He even felt a pang of remorse for his foolish request, realizing that he had engaged a wise minister in a futile task. He understood that instead of focusing on the important affairs of the state, he often indulged in unnecessary and absurd questions, wasting his own time and energy as well as that of his ministers. The king smiled and said, "Ah, Minister, your wisdom is truly remarkable. You have not only satisfied my curiosity, but have also taught me that finding a direct and literal answer to every question is not always necessary. Your reasoning is unparalleled." King Suryasen, pleased beyond measure, bestowed upon Minister Chandragupta valuable rewards and honors. He publicly praised the minister's intelligence and dedication to duty. Following this incident, King Suryasen began to value Minister Chandragupta's advice more and sought his counsel on important matters of the state. The king addressed the minister, saying, "Minister, should any other such peculiar or difficult problem arise in the future, I have no doubt that you will resolve it with your wisdom. Your prudence and your reasoning abilities are an invaluable asset to our kingdom." Minister Chandragupta thanked the king with humility and assured him of his continued dedication to the service of the state. This event further strengthened the bond between the king and his wise minister. King Suryasen gradually began to curb his eccentricities and foolish habits, and under the guidance of his minister's wisdom, the kingdom began to flourish. The significance of wisdom. This folk tale, The Foolish King and the Wise Minister, imparts profound lessons about the importance of wisdom and intellect in life. The story clearly illustrates that the judicious application of intelligence and wit is far more significant than physical strength or an abundance of resources. Minister Chandragupta, without resorting to any actual counting, successfully fulfilled the king's impossible demand by employing his extraordinary reasoning skills and a clever stratagem. He proved that a wise individual can find simple and satisfactory solutions to even the most formidable challenges through their ingenuity and quick thinking. Conversely, the foolish King Suryasen, with his bizarre and impractical requests, not only wasted his own precious time, but also caused unnecessary trouble for his intelligent ministers and courtiers. This tale teaches us the crucial lesson that we should always act thoughtfully and with discretion, and refrain from making demands or issuing orders without careful consideration. Ultimately, this story highlights the immense power of wisdom and knowledge, inspiring us to cultivate our intellect and seek logical and prudent solutions to the various challenges and difficult situations we encounter in life. Wisdom is not only the key to personal success, but also the foundation of a prosperous and harmonious society.